Hey folks, hope everyone is doing well today. I'm kind of excited about the topic for the day, or at least the things we're going to go through. So make sure you have a pen and pad of paper nearby. We're going to cover a bunch of stuff, very actionable sorts of things that you can put into play. Again, any questions as you're going through, you want us to stop, you want us to revisit, you want me to stop talking so quickly, whatever it may be sure to post them in the questions on the sidebar. All right, so the quick agenda for today, and then we'll dig right in, is I want to briefly remind those of you who were here last time or perhaps weren't that we've got some new customizations available. We're going to talk about technology. This is sort of hands-on show and tell, things that we're observing publishers not doing quite the way we recommend, so I want to put that out there and highlight a bit about why we think and why certain things work better, or ways that you can get more out of what you're already doing. We're going to talk about some tech updates that just rolled out. You will be getting an email shortly on those as well, but I want to introduce them here. So just as a reminder, more customizations. Some of you, we've taken the liberty of doing some customizations for based on previous conversations. A couple of you have asked us to make certain updates. Others I know are interested, but we haven't heard from you. So definitely take a look at your site, look at things like color, background, font color, things of that nature, and then let us know what you'd like to see adjusted. We can do some things pretty quickly. One thing as we continue forward, definitely want to make sure that you remember we're here to help. Everything from crafting proposals for potential clients or existing clients that you think could benefit, from helping you with email or social media campaigns, again separately even from the social promotions, but helping you get the most out of email, setting up your email newsletters, your groups for targeting purposes, helping you make sure you don't forget to incorporate certain common things into the layouts that you want to highlight, post to our calendar, things of that nature. And also, as you're posting things on the site, or you're trying to get the most out of the tool set, if you want pointers, you want feedback, I mean, some things we've got in the Help Center and some things we can just take a look at. So be sure to share with us things that you're doing, and we're happy to get eyes on it. I'll share in a bit one of the publishers where I noticed something and made a suggestion as a way to get more out of what they're already doing. I will take just a minute. We've posted a number of posts, actually Ryan did most of them, in the last few days on our blog related to revenue. Digital, print, combination of the two. Lots of good stuff. You'll get an email for that too, about 45 minutes. But I'm not going to go into that today because I don't want to insult your intelligence. You can read through that, but definitely read through, post comments. I hope you're using that as a resource. We're spending a lot of time crafting these things, and we want it to be useful for you. So with that, I'm going to dig into the technology. So for those of you who are on the sales side, this might seem a little unrelated to your responsibilities, but as we talk through this, I think you'll get a sense that, like putting together a good product in print, the things we're going to talk about here will help what you do engage people more thoroughly and make it more valuable in all the various ways that we're able to monetize. Some of these things I'm going to talk to, some I'm going to share. So starting off, just a quick reminder for everybody, be sure the images you're using on the site or anything that you're doing online, whether it's with us or otherwise, is RGB, not CMYK. I know sometimes this feels a little cumbersome. There are some mask converters that you can get. Photoshop can do it, all this stuff. It really makes a difference in how quickly it'll upload and process, but also some browsers don't show CMYKs, and the speed at which this loads your website will be dramatically impacted. I'd also like to encourage you to remember, be sure to crop all the main images in your articles. It'll make it fit perfectly on the site. We've decided that we've noticed enough people are seemingly forgetting to crop that we're going to build in an auto crop to that so that they always fit. You'll still have the original on file. You'll still be able to make changes, but that way if you forget, it'll just happen. So that's probably a few weeks out. So one of the things I want to talk about to begin with, and I'll do a little show and tell as a reminder, and I'm going to use our staging server to do it, is photo galleries. Now, as a reminder, photo galleries are attached to articles, and the reason for this is that we want more context. In the case of searching and sorting, people like to look for galleries based on topics, timelines, things of that nature. And so if you have an article and you have copy on it, you can frankly just get it to do a lot more in terms of being discoverable and shareable and all of that. So as you're going through and you're posting your articles, of course you want a main image, and you're completely welcome to insert images inline in the flow of a given article. But then down in the footer, be sure to be creating galleries. And we recommend that for the most efficient process here, if you know you've got a gallery, come in and start here. Give it a name, whatever is appropriate. If there's an event, if there's a venue, maybe incorporating that in the name would be useful. And then do the drag and drop to upload. Again, when you're editing, you should not be in Internet Explorer because it's a terrible browser. But other than that, you should be able to drag and drop. And if you do that, as they're uploading, as they're processing, you can then go ahead and finish out doing the rest of the article posting. So it'll be efficient for you, and you'll get lots of images uploaded in. Now, after you've created your particular article and you've published it, you'll be returned to your dashboard. This should all be pretty common for all of you. If you're going to add it to the homepage, great, go ahead and promote it as you would or not. Wherever this article appears, whether it's on the Today or homepage or in a given category, I can go ahead and I can make featured galleries. You've probably noticed on the bottom of your sites. In fact, for nearly every site we featured at least a few. But you can simply click Article, Manage Content and Galleries. And in the same way that you promote articles to the homepage, you can feature your galleries. And so by enabling it, it will show up prominently wherever that particular article appears. As a reminder, it'll show up 6 featured galleries per homepage or category page, and it's the most recent 6 from that category. Given that some categories don't have as much content today, let's say community only had 4 featured events, 4 featured galleries, it would pull 2 from the homepage to round that out. So we've got a little bit of fill in the gaps going on. But once you get used to doing this, you have plenty of galleries. And then, of course, what will happen is I'll just pull up, let's say, I'll go to Frisco Style. As you pull up your site and you scroll down, you'll see your various featured galleries, in this case 6 of them. So it allows for another type of browsing. A couple notes of things that we're looking at and would welcome feedback on. We're looking at giving you the ability to have these galleries appear, one, in other places, maybe not at the bottom, maybe right below the carousel or whatnot, and 2, creating a galleries landing page that's filterable, dates and whatnot, as well as making sure that every category and searches could be filter only those articles with galleries, for instance. So there's a combination of things that you can do there. If you feature specific galleries or common photo sections in your magazine, like some of our publishers do, there's some other techniques you can do to highlight those, but I'll talk about that another time, or you can come directly to us. So I really want to make sure that you are creating lots of galleries and that you are featuring them, because that visual stuff is really great for social sharing and for Facebook. Okay, I'm going to just sort of keep plodding along. So go ahead and post questions as you have them, or requests or whatnot. As we see them roll in, I'll pause, revisit, but I won't be sort of pausing along the way to address those. The next thing I want to talk about is Facebook, and we've written a number of blog posts about this. Recently we did the anatomy of a authentically viral Facebook post from Mansfield Magazine, but we still see publishers really working hard on Facebook, but maybe missing a few opportunities. So I'm going to highlight Acadiana Lifestyle. Now, you know they're doing a lot right because they have almost 5,000 fans, and so so they're doing a lot of things. I'm going to highlight a couple of things that I would recommend that can help them get more engagement. Now, I'm an admin of their page, and so I can see some things. But the first thing I want you to note, and hopefully this works with the screencast, is the timestamp of their posts. 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago, 5 hours ago, 5 hours ago, 6 hours ago, 6 hours ago. So they're posting a lot of content. In a way, this is great, but in a way, this is a problem. One, Facebook has built out code, software, an algorithm that will determine how many people see each of these posts. And part of that happens over time. So if you post one and then immediately post another one, you literally step over your first post and thus limit the reach that you would have. You're never going to reach 100%. In fact, the average post reaches 16% of the fan base. So you can look at your numbers and see, if I'm hitting 16 or more, great. If I'm less, why is that? And if you're posting too frequently, that is definitely one reason that could happen. So don't post too frequently, and be sure to use the scheduling tool. So when you're going and you're posting, there is this icon here. It looks like a clock, and you can schedule it out. It takes you an extra 10 seconds. It is worth it. It will allow you to get more reach. But the other thing to consider, if you're just the average reader, you want to hear from a local publication 6 times a day. It might be hard to stomach wearing both hats, but make sure what you're sharing are things that people really want to see. Occasionally a sponsored message or something like that's fine, but you want to be mindful of the fact that if you're not careful, Facebook will mark you as spam, and it will negatively impact your reach. You may have 100,000 fans, and you'll reach 50 people when you post them, which is sort of self-defeating. So they're posting a little more frequently than we'd recommend, and as you roll through, I'm not going to spend too much time on how many people each are reaching, but there's a vast disparity between the number of people reached by any given post, and you'd want to know why that is. Now, there's a couple other things I'll highlight. One thing they do really well is when they're sharing, they are adding messages to it. They're not just hitting share and then leaving it alone and letting it be the sort of boring regurgitation of what the page was. You want to make sure you are annotating, and you want to make sure you're including links where you can. Two things I want to highlight, however, and this sort of dovetails into the next big item, which is populating your calendar. They're sharing a few events that aren't actually in their, in this case, the event that's happening today or yesterday, as I forget the date. So if you're going to share it to Facebook, there's no reason why you shouldn't first put it into your own calendar, share it from your calendar to Facebook, and add your custom messages. That will, one, build out more content on your site, which has a social implication, a search implication, and of course, as you share it and people click on it, they're going to be going to your site. And I guarantee the library here will not mind you sharing some of their events in your calendar and building out a library. No pun intended, although I suppose it's there. A library of events on your site for them that you can share regularly, as can other people. So filling out the calendar and sharing that is a great way to do that. And don't forget to link back. They had this one post that I noticed about this woman who got in great shape. It was part of one of their bigger events that they did. Very engaging post, great. No link to their website. And so this is really missing an opportunity to get people engaged. They did an in the issue version or a variation of it, which you can find here. And as you scroll down, you can see that the winner is here. What I would love to see, what I would recommend, is that there's actually a custom article, even if that article only contained the information in this post. At least it's on your site. You get some search engine benefit. You can use the insert feature to link straight from the in this issue to that, and then you can share at least a link there. And so of the 2,000 people who saw this on Facebook and the 31 who liked it, some percentage would go to their site, they would engage, they would share to their friends and their fan base. You might even invite them to share their own success stories or something else if you really want to up the engagement. But the point here is there are some quick hitting things that you want to share just to Facebook, but things that are meatier, especially if it ties to print, be sure to be posting on your site as well. So just as a recap, custom messages for everything. Kitty does a great job there. Not too frequent, Ideally, space them 3 to 4 hours apart. Obviously not at 3 in the morning since people aren't really around there. Facebook is recognizing things that are posted at different times but still relevant, so they're trying to get smarter, but they're really trying to crack down on spam and overposting. And don't forget the links, whether it's to other people's site or back to your site. If you've got that relevant stuff to share, it will get them to your site, but also give them the ability to discover more content on your site. And that sort of segues into the calendar piece. You really want to make sure your calendar is a viable piece of what you're doing. There's a reason that we show it so prominently on the homepage. I mean, one is that so many publishers have told us this is why people pick up our publication in print. People love seeing what's going on. Let's make sure that the calendar online presentation, if you have to early on, post some of your own stuff, but definitely recruit organizations from the community. That library I mentioned that they were sharing, they should know that they can post online, and more than that, because you can export from the web to use in print. You can say, not only are you posting online, you're submitting your event online for consideration in print. And so it'll make your life both easier and your website more effective. The thing I wanted to highlight, though, is there was a particular event here about a girl who has an illness, and it's a fundraiser. And I noticed yesterday that this particular event was getting an incredible amount of traffic. In fact, it was the most viewed page in our network yesterday. So I reached out to the publisher and said, you know, one thing I would recommend that you do is you write an article. Maybe reach out to Lisa here and learn a little bit more, get a little backstory, write an article, link to the event page. You're going to help them get more visibility for this fundraiser, but you'll also get the benefit of some added reach and exposure and all of these things. It's sort of everybody wins. It's one of the great things about the role you have in your community, right? You can do well by doing good. Now, not always as an event, a fundraiser, but the point here is you can leverage these events in new ways. And so in this case, I happened to notice, so I reached out to them. But if you see something like this, if you see people taking advantage of this or other features, and you want to know, is there anything I can do to sort of get more mileage out of this? Let us know. We want to hear about that. It turns out in this case, Lisa, who again published this or posted this here, is using this event page as the homepage for the event. And so that's what we want to see more and more people doing, where they say, this is my calendar of events for my community that I can use and impact. So the calendar can be very powerful, and of course it has incredible search engine and sharing benefits. This event's been shared to Facebook a couple hundred times in a couple days, which is obviously great for traffic. Earlier I mentioned emails. You should be sending them, advertisers, readers, etc. You should really have a consistent set of messages that go sort of in the template. Post your event, see the full calendar. Don't think that just because someone received 10 emails, they've seen that before. People scan, they delete, they don't pay attention. Consistently have it there. It doesn't have to be front and center, but let people know. And if you can tie it into the other stuff you're sharing, that's great too. So calendar and directory and other things. All right, I'm going to take a deep breath, and I'm going to talk about how we install the reviews widget. The reviews widget, just as a reminder, is really the first of the tools that we have built to leverage your brand and the directory in your community. This is good for your local businesses, it's good for readers, and it's definitely good for your brand. So we talked about this before. It can be embedded on a site, and it will include your logo. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go back to our site, and I'm going to go through this little process here. So I'm signed in. You've got your email up here, and I'm going to go ahead and go manage a directory listing for my profile. So there's a number of ways that you can do this. You can go to the listing in the directory and click Manage, or in this case, just click the Profile button. And then in Profile, I've got a number of options. I can subscribe to messages. I can change my password. I can do all sorts of good stuff. I'm going to go to Directory Listings. And because this is a test site and all that good stuff, I've got a bunch of businesses here. So I can click on whichever one I'd like, and I can manage it. Now, this is the interface that your local businesses will see when they manage their listing. There's some big upgrades happening here, so I'm not going to dwell on anything in particular, but you can click over to the Reviews widget tab. And once I'm here, I've got my little configuration ability. This particular business does not have any reviews yet, so you can see what the default state is. I actually want to make it 300 pixels wide, and I'm going to make it 600 pixels tall, and I can then hit the preview button, and you'll see that it generates a new preview. If there was a review, it would fill that in. In fact, just for fun, I'm going to click that. I'm going to add a review so you can see what that looks like. Again, to leave reviews, you have to be signed in. I'll do my bottom line, or my title. Couldn't be more generic. And I'll say, 5 stars across the board, of course. Now, one of the things I mentioned last week was that we're sending many, apparently I should include an actual overall rating. We're sending many emails. So as I submit this, an email, if it was on our real server, would be sent to both the listing owner and to the person leaving the review. So what will happen is, as a listing owner gets positive reviews, it says, oh, by the way, don't forget to share it to Facebook. And one of the features coming soon is part of an upgrade that then they'll be able to auto share it to Facebook, which further links back to you. So, okay, we're doing some testing on staging, which I forgot about, so I will skip that particular piece, but I want you to focus on how you can take this. We've got a number of different backgrounds as well. A lot of people just want to use a transparent background, which I can do here. So there's a few different background choices in terms of how this will look on their site, including a white background, which will stand out more if they have, let's say, a black site. But then you just simply either select this or click the copy code button, and you take this wherever you want. If you're on, if they have access to their site, they can embed this into their website, to their blog. In this case, I'll show you how you could drop it into your sidebar. Just in our parlance, we use an embed element. Replace the placeholder stuff and save. And now, as that loads out, I will have my Lark Creek element there. Again, where this bigger Locable logo would be your logo, as in South Lake Style in this case. And so as you help your clients install these, that means every time someone goes to their website, they're going to see you. They're going to see your brand. They're going to see content from your site showing here, links back to your site, and the ability to leave reviews. So all of these things are really, really good for driving traffic and engagement. And I was talking to a publisher yesterday who says, part of our distribution is that we send them to salons and spas and all these places where people see them, and that's good for our brand. This is the digital version of that distribution approach. So your customers don't need you to do this, but if you happen to be meeting with them, why not take a few minutes and make sure that they've got that on their site. All right. With that wraps up sort of our tutorials for today. If there's any topics that you'd like us to cover in the future, anything you want us to address, let us know. We want to incorporate things that are useful. These are common mistakes, or I guess misoptimization chances that we've seen, and we want to make sure that you guys are getting the most out of the tool set that you can get. I'm going to wrap up with some tech updates that are important for you to know about. We've rolled out our spam protection to forms, so some of you were getting a bit of added spam. Some of you may have even disabled forms in the past. use forms. Don't post your email address, use forms. Automatically has spam protection built right in now, a technique called the honeypot, which basically bots fill out a field that shouldn't be filled out. And we say, oh, you must not be authentic. Just to give you a sense of how this looks, I'm going to go right in and show you the slight change to the form building interface. There's now a new checkbox on your form builder that says add a field to reply to email. Literally, this will add email address as the very top field of the form. When someone fills out that form, and that's a required field, it will come from them. What this means is that if someone, John at John's Plumbing Supply submits a form for a media kit, you could set up an autoresponder to send him a media kit automatically, or to handle it in other ways. But it'll come from them. So you can actually hit reply if you wanted to, and it'll go back to where you want it to go, all that good stuff. So that's a nice addition. You'll notice that the sharing has changed on the site. We're using a new upgrade from Add This, which is called Smart Layers, and there's 4 elements to it. You've got sharing on the left. We're going to do a little bit more refinement to get rid of some of the ridiculous number of sharing options and highlight the ones that are most common, and then of course make Facebook, Twitter, and a couple others prominent over here. A couple of people have noticed that when you try to print a page, it doesn't look great. There is a print-friendly option in this, which we're going to make prominent, and it looks great to print your content on. We are including any social links at the top. This is part as well of this integration. So if there are any links that you have that you'd like included, send them to us, please, and we will incorporate them up there. And this just simply is a link out to the Facebook page for the publication. You'll notice as you scroll down, you get these recommended content, and then in the footer there's recommendations as well. Those 2 things are things we're testing. They're part of the Add This Smart Layers, but they rely on things like what people are looking at and what people are sharing. So as we get more traffic to your sites, or if you're a site with less traffic, some of that won't fill out as quickly. So we're trying to see how well they fit with smaller local sites. It may or may not be a great long-term solution, but it is nice that it is surfacing different types of content, from articles to events to directory listings, so it can surface all of that at once. So we're kind of excited about that. We're getting some analytics. We're looking at giving you each access to your sharing analytics, or tying it straight into Google Analytics, or both potentially. I see a question. I'm going to let Ryan type back. I don't fully understand what's being asked, so I'll move along until I get clarification. There's one thing that we've changed recently, or I guess improved, that you won't see, but you might see the benefits of, and that's something called schema.org. This is sort of in the code of particular businesses and events. Basically, it tells Google quantitatively, this is the name of a business, this is the hours of operation, this is a review. Again, you won't really see it, but you might notice if you Google your own business in the next few weeks, the layout of the search page is improved. There's just better SEO implications there, and we're going to expand the use of that going forward. You also now have better access to information. So you can come in and you can go to your business page, and in addition to seeing what type of listing one is, you can hover over this little email icon to get the email address of the person who owns that listing. This could be useful to you. This could be useful to you in terms of prospecting. You can see people who've registered for directory listings that aren't advertisers. You might want to give them a call, send them an email. Likewise, as people comment on particular articles, you can get access to their email address directly through the comments. You go to your main page, and you can click in to see the comments. And then as you hover over, you may or may not see that, it has an email address. You can actually click it to launch your email service and send an email. So we've tried to increase some visibility there. And then finally, after a long request period, we've added custom site categories. So some of you this won't apply to, some of you it will. I'm going to show you the one that we've set up already. So you've got a list of categories, and these are sort of general, locally relevant categories: city and school, life and leisure, etc. In the case of South Lake Style, they have one high school in their town, and it's a big deal. You know, Texas football sorts of thing. And so they have a special issue every year called Dragon Pride, and they do a lot of high school related content. So now we created Dragon Pride as a custom category. Just to give you an idea of how this works, if you want to set up a custom category, and I would advise you to be very careful in how you do this, because you don't want to set up categories that are too narrow, but if you have something that you can produce a lot of content for and that really resonates in your community, this is what you can take advantage of. And so you come into categories, and now you see on the right-hand side custom article category, and this allows you to do, you know, custom cat. I create that, and other than my computer going very slowly for our call here, it will appear. It is editable. It is deletable. However, you can't edit the name or the URL. You can only edit the keywords and description that go with it. But I could select it and then click Save to update the list of categories available. Remember that when you add a new category, whether custom or otherwise, that there will be no articles associated with it, and you'll need to then either create or edit existing articles to populate it and have it be useful. But when I go back and look at the menu now, the category is here. Keep in mind you do have limited amount of space, so you have to be mindful of not adding too many categories or it will roll over. That being said, there are some very subtle contractions or expansions that we can do and how close the letters are together. So if you're just about able to fit it, or you want to space it out just to fill up a little more space, we can modify that slightly now through the customization as well. So with that, this has been a very nuts and bolts sorts of office hours, but I hope it's been useful to see how to do some things again. Maybe it's a reminder, maybe you're seeing it for the first time, but there are better ways to do things, and we want to help you work smarter and not harder. Now, I have a question that I'm going to address, and if there's any others, please post them as I'm taking a look. The question is there a way to edit the locations of events? And the answer is absolutely yes. So I will come in, for simplicity, since I don't have much content on our test site for events, I'm going to go to the admin page for events. And so I've got my list here. You just simply hit edit. And you can do this also from the event itself if you're signing in as an admin, or if you happen to be the event owner. You scroll down and you've got your venue here. In this case I chose Issaquah Cafe. Maybe that's the wrong one. If I research cafe, I can change it to Sabrina's. And then when I scroll down and update the event, it will update it on various pages. So changing locations is pretty straightforward. All right, well, we'll stick around for a couple more minutes. If you have any other questions, then you can post them here. It's possible, the question said the event had the wrong Stillwater, Minnesota instead of Stillwater, Oklahoma. In that case, you'd be looking at changing the event in your business list, rather changing the venue. So these are pulling in straight from the business directory, which is one of the super cool reasons you want to post events, is it creates links to the directory. So you would need to go to the business list and then do a search for the business and click edit. We keep publishers from editing claimed meaning express, premium, or enhanced listings, just to avoid accidental mistakes. But if you have a change that needs to happen, or you have a question about a listing that's here or something, submit it through our support center, and we can make adjustments. We just want to make sure that people aren't accidentally editing information for businesses that the business owner has intentionally set up. All right. Well, I hope everybody has a great day. Again, we'll stick around for about 2 more minutes to answer questions, and hopefully you're able to put these things into action. Great question, Eric. Asked for a detailed summary of the features with each plan we can share with businesses. We're going through a pretty massive upgrade of the directory, and so we're actually working on that particular document as we speak. I'll bring it into view. It's out of focus, but this is what we're working on. We're finalizing some of the features. What you're going to see, just in general, is that both more is available on Express, that is free but claimed listings, than is today. But we're also adding some great marketing services in our march towards moving towards what we're calling a marketing suite for local businesses on the paid side. So we will have that. I'm asking you to sit tight as we're finishing this document and some of the upgrades, and those are rolling out literally this week, next week, and the following week with some pretty cool stuff. All right. Well, have a great week. Again, if you're planning any photo contests or Reader's Choice contests, be sure to use the built-in tools. If you have any questions about that, let us know. But contests is a great way to do engagement, and we also recommend that you do the reviews contest. You know, most 5-star reviews in a month gets a write-up in print or online or something. And a great way to incentivize engagement, and then of course leverage the reviews widget. So hope everyone has a great day, and we'll see you again next week. You'll be getting an email in about 15 minutes with a summary of some of the blog posts that I mentioned earlier, and you can continue your reading then. All right, hope you all have a great day. See ya.